Well, I had mentioned Joe Budden. Where are you with Joe Budden these days? You guys are cool, or is there some sort of beef type thing going on? Or
I don't have a beef with him. I haven't spoken to him though.
When's the last time you guys spoke?
Last time me and Joe spoke on a Sunday. It was a Sunday, but this was years ago.
Sunday.
It was a Sunday. This was like 2020 maybe.
The Robins were out.
Yeah, I think it was like 2020, 2021. It was after
4 years.
Yeah, it was after one of his. It was after one of his rants about me. He had like a week of rants about me.
Good for that.
Yeah,
I've got those Joe Budden week of rants about Vlad.
But you know what's so interesting, man? And I remember when when Joe first ran, Joe did he had the podcast cover, and it was me and him on the cover, and it said, "We are not the same." And I was like, "That's true," right? And then he went on his rant about me, about Charlamagne, you just a worker, you don't own anything, we not running the same race, blah blah blah. And I remember texting, the president of the Black Effect Podcast Network, my good sister Dolly Bishop. And, texting, a couple of the execs at iHeart who are in the podcast world. And I was like, man, we just got the best rollout ever. Because our announcement for Black Effect was dropping like that Monday. I think the podcast came out that Saturday, and it was coming out like that Monday or Tuesday. And it was funny because when the announcement dropped, everybody immediately, you know how the internet is, they started going online to see when Black Effect was trademarked and when it was copyrighted, all of that type of stupid shit. And they was just like, damn, Charlamagne had this plan the whole time. And people think that all of this stuff is just like wrestling.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No, it's real.
That was just coincidence. That was just the universe. And I was like, thank you, Joe. Appreciate you. Then the next week he had Nori on to ask about his Black Effect deal. So all of that helped the launch.
I mean, look, me and Joe's beef goes back to like 2009 or something. But last December we ran into each other at Bergdorf Goodman in Manhattan. And, this is after years of him saying, when I see Vlad, I'm going to fuck him up. And I got lawyer money put aside. So I remember I used to go to Complex. I used to have my man with me, just in case we ran into him, And I remember I was like, I looked over and he's like looking at me. But it wasn't like a look of like anger or, threatening or whatever else. He was just like, I'm like, oh shit. So I walked up to him and I'm like, what up, Joe? And, put my hand out, shake his hand. He shook my hand. I'm like, yo, we had a very short chat, but I'm like, yo, congratulations on everything.
Yeah, me and Joe definitely never got to that level. We definitely ain't trying to beef. Not that I know of. Like, I don't even know if the issue is over at this point, to be honest with you. But it's like, I've known Joe forever, man. I've known Joe since, man, I think I've known Joe as long as I've known you. Because I first interviewed Joe in like 03, 04. When I was doing,
right, that's about the same time.
Yeah, I was doing radio in Columbia, South Carolina on Hot 103.9. And, he got a bunch of family in Sumter, South Carolina. And one day somebody hit me and they was like, yo, man, Joe Budden wants to come to your show. And I'm like, Joe Budden? And yeah, he came to the show. I have that first interview that we ever did on tape.
Look,
and that don't need to come out because that was crazy.
That was crazy? What was wrong with it?
It was crazy.
What happened?
I mean, it was just a different era. Like, that's 03. We in Columbia, South Carolina.
So what was said in this interview?
It was wild. I think at the time he was beefing with Game.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
He was beefing with Game, but Joe always would do like weird shit, right? Like he'd be beefing with Game, but then you'd see him out with a G-Unit hat on. You know what I mean? And I remember having that conversation, but I bought the hat up after Joe said something about Game, and it was just it was funny. And then I bought up the hat thing. But I'm not gonna say what Joe said, but if you heard what Joe said, then heard the hat thing, you would understand. Like, come on, this is like the biggest contradiction ever, bro. Like,
look, I've said this so many times, and I actually live this. All the media people, especially in hip hop, but just overall, we should all be cool with each other because we all win by working together. It's true. Now, radio is different. I remember when I was on Big Boy Show, I was talking to Cruz, And I was like, yeah, you radio guys can't be cool with each other. He's like, no, that's a possibility. But when it comes to digital, when it comes to YouTube, when it comes to streaming, like I've had so many wins by having friends in the same field. You know how many people I've called up? If I see a guest on someone's show, I'll hit them up. Oh, can you give me a contact? Yeah, no problem. Here you go. Oh, how much you pay so-and-so for this interview? Okay, cool. So when I talk to him, I know kind of the ballpark. Or I'll hit you up. Oh, do you have a business contact? You put me in touch with business contacts. You've asked me to get in touch with certain people. I put you in touch. Like, me and academics have a great relationship. Me and Adam 22 have a great relationship. Me and Sean Cotton, me and you, like literally everybody. Me and Bootleg Kev, me and, Gilbert Arenas now, me and Cameron now. I went on his show. Like, we all do better working with each other. This whole media beef, nobody wins. You might be viral for a couple of days, and that's that. The long-term, effect is nothing.
I mean, it's interesting, right? Because when you look at, what they call the manosphere in podcasting, like, you got, Joe Rogan, who's, the mothership, but then you think about all of the people who Joe Rogan has helped to get over, right? Like, the Theo Vaughns of the world and the Brendan Schaubs of the world. You can even put Andrew Schultz in that category in a lot of ways. And yeah, they all assist each other, right? Yeah. So I can totally see why you say that. I was even thinking about the Hollywood Reporter. They just did their 44 most powerful people in podcasting. I think this is the 4th year that they've done that list. I think I've been on there 3 years. This is the first year that I made it as an executive. But when you go look at the list, man, there's not really any hip hop representation.
Yeah, I don't even know about this list, so clearly I wasn't on it.
Yeah, there's no hip hop representation, and it's literally only three black people. It's myself, but they got me as an executive with Black Effect, right? So you can think about all the shows that we partnered with Black Effect. They got Michelle Obama and her brother Craig on there, in my opinion. I mean, it's a huge podcast. And then they got the Joe Budden podcast.
Oh, okay.
And so I was just sitting back I'm happy to be on the list. I'm happy to be recognized. But I'm like, for all the noise that hip-hop podcasts make, that black podcasts make, it should be way more representation of us on this list, I would think. So that really did start to make me, think about, are we not maximizing this opportunity that we all have in this space because of, petty issues or whatever? I don't know.